Man, today he was just kind of lost.
Yeah, well,
He got the second in stage two, but outside of that, he was just out of his element.
I probably should have told you this, but now we are live. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cutline. If you guys want to know what we were talking about, we'll get into that later on when we dive a little more into the race. But joining me on this episode, it's been a while since we've had a guest. So joining me for this episode is my good buddy, and he's also part of the let's just say this. If you guys want to know who does the great work in making those cut line shorts that go up every week, it's this man right here, Shahzain. What's up, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Just got finished watching a interesting Sonoma race. That's how I would probably describe it. When we get more into like the race recap, race weekend rankings, you'll see like my thoughts on it. But yeah, what did you think of the race?
Yeah, I thought it was all right. By Sonoma standards, it was a pretty average race. Usually, there's not much competition for the lead at Sonoma, and especially now with Shane Van Gisbergen in the field, he was just in a class of his own. No one able to challenge him all day. Even on slightly older tires, he was able to hold his own against the guys with significantly newer tires. So outside of that, though, I thought it was a pretty decent race, but just towards the end there, it got a little repetitive with the cautions, but mid-pack throughout the field, there was some pretty good battling.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with you pretty much on all of that. JGR for life. I finally got a Sunday off and watched the whole race. Hey man, that's what's up. I haven't think we've seen you in the chat in a while. I know you're typically one of the guys who are on for most of the episodes. So welcome back, first of all, and glad you're able to watch the race. Samantha Ram. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Ty Dillon. Oh my! Did you see the?
Oh
Did you
man.
see what Ty Dillon did at the end?
Dude, me and my friends were in the VC and we were screaming out for them to show the battle between Alex Bowman and Ty Dillon because we saw they were nose to tail on the restart, dude. And if he could get to him, Ty Dillon was gonna do something. And man, I have never been more proud of Ty Dillon in my life, man. That was incredible.
Let me see if I can pull this up here. I'm on X right now, trying to see. All right, let me see if I can pull it up right here. So if you guys don't know, you're watching SVG do his burnout. So yeah, so I'll put a little bit of context. So Ty Dillon and Alex Bowman, they were the matchup trying to make it to the final four of the in-season challenge or in-season tournament. And this is the last lap. You see the 10 is right behind the 48. And look what he does. Literally bumps him out the way on the hairpin. And then Ty Dillon, the 32 seed, is in the final four.
No words.
What? Cause like literally, like I was getting ready to go. So if you guys don't know, every race, I bring friends over and we watch it, and I'm like, all right, time to go. Get ready, go upstairs, let's hit record. So then the broadcast is like, oh, we need to see what happened with Ty Dillon and Alex Bowman. I'm like, okay, let me watch for a second, and then they show that. My God, that was insane.
Yeah, he is making sure that Kolick is gonna have a shot at the million here, and I don't know how he is at Dover, but up against who is he up against? Nemechek?
Ty Dillon was up against Bowman. That's why he did what he did.
No, the next race.
Oh, that's a good question. Hold on, let me see. Let me see.
Let's see here. Yeah.
I think Nemechek finished ahead of Nemechek. Wow.
Yeah.
Nemechek 28th, Eric Jones 29th.
Yeah, that was a really close one too on the restart. It was Jones for a while there, and then I think he was involved in the pileup with Noah Gregson, got spun around. So Nemechek advances to the final four.
Yep.
And then we got Reddick and Gibbs, which should be a pretty good one.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. The fact that a legacy car or Collie car is going to be in the finals is crazy.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, I'm all here for it. Like this tournament, especially putting a restrictor plate race, not a restrictor plate, super speedway race.
I still call plate racing.
Yeah, it's
I'm old.
force of habit. But especially putting that in the first round, it really encouraged one of the lower teams who could really use this $1 million to move forward, and that is exactly what it's done. It will be kind of funny though if 2311 wins it and they use this for like legal fees or something. But
That would be hilarious.
but yeah.
You actually did make a really good point where it's, maybe some of the drivers say they don't care about it. Even some of the fans, like, what's the point? But I mean, especially for a couple of these small teams, that is $1 million that could go into that program. That is not short change for them. They could use that money to make that program better, especially a team like Call League, who have been pretty much nowhere besides Almending on road courses. We know that 10 car really has been nowhere the last few years. So to have that extra $1 million, and that's kind of like, it's not a playoff berth, it's not a championship appearance, but it's still something to hang your hat on. It's like a version of like when the Colts, I'm a Colts fan, so the Colts have that AFC finalist banner. It's kind of something like that, but it's like, okay, it's a little more fun, and it's not just like, what are you doing? So it does mean a lot for these teams more than we think. I mean, Ty Dillon wouldn't have done what he did if it didn't.
Oh, definitely. And I feel like as fans, like you and me, I'm sure we could say that the playoff format is something that we don't really like right now, or we like to see improvements on. And so watching drivers in the back of the field win races, it has a little bit of an undertone. It's like, it's cool, but now he's in the playoffs, taking a spot away from someone else who is more deserving. But this tournament is 100% like it's cool to see these underdog drivers fight it out and knock out big names because in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean anything for the championship, the bigger picture. But the $1 million is still a huge boost for the smaller teams and even for the bigger teams. I mean, it's not insignificant, but it's something that we can just have fun with and really enjoy the storylines on track.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's not really meant to be taken seriously. It's like, hey, just a little thing for fun, and that's it. Again, the only complaint I have is I wish they would have the in-season tournament earlier in the season. Because I think we're so close to the playoffs that a lot of teams aren't really worried about it. They're more worried about, can I win to get into the playoffs? Can I get enough points to point my way in? Where kind of the in-season tournament is second in mind. Whereas if you had to like race 10 through 15 instead of like race 20 to 25 or race like 18 to 23, then you'd have more teams that are like, okay, we'll play along with the fun. Whereas now they can't really afford to unless you're so far behind in points that you just might as well.
Right. Yeah, that does make sense. I feel like putting it maybe with Prime and their coverage would be a better thing for next year if they switch around the races a little bit. Because I'd love to see Prime cover this with their full investment. Because TNT, they've been all right, but nowhere near the level of Prime.
Right. Nicholas, congratulations to SVG. No one else had anything for him. Congratulations. And how about Ty Dillon and Daniel Suarez? Needs to go to Xfinity next year and drive for Dale Jr. if he wants to stay competitive. That's a loaded comment. Yeah, SVG. I don't know what to say, man. I mean, actually, I do know one thing to say. Because I could just keep repeating myself about how this man is not normal. This man needs multiple drug tests every time we go to a road course. So, but one thing I'll say is this. I talked about it during the Mexico episode, where people would say that if SVG won multiple races, and even Elite here in the comments saying hot take SVG is deserving to be in the playoffs. So you got a lot of guys say that, oh, he's won multiple races this year. Is he now worthy of being in the playoffs? I was even talking with a buddy of mine before it went live. And my answer is simple. I think I even alluded to it in Chicago. I don't care how many wins SVG has. If he's not top 16 in points, he's not deserving of being in the playoffs. Because I said it before. If you're good at 6 or, well, I guess in this case it'd be 5 out of 26 races, less than 20% of the regular season, that doesn't mean you're championship worthy. It's that simple.
I would agree to that. And even like if you have 3 wins, after 3 wins, if you can't at least be in like the top 20 even,
exactly,
then I'd say there are some issues. Like where is he in points right now after this one?
I don't know if they actually, I'll give credit to NASCAR. They've done a really good job updating their standings a lot quicker and not just like after post race. So I'm gonna see right here. I don't know if they've done it just yet. No, they haven't.
Hmm. All right.
Well, when he won Chicago, he moved up from 32nd to 27th. So he scored 59 points. So I'd imagine he's probably, honestly, he's probably just going to move up to 26 because he's already pretty far behind like a guy like Stenhouse. So he's either going to be 26 or 25th in points. But even then, still, it's like, let me see if I can pull it up right here. So SVG is right now, this is obviously not alluding to the Sonoma win. So it says 2 wins, 2 top 5s, move that up to 3 and 3, 4 top 10s, and then it would just be the same amount of DNFs. The thing is, okay, he's got 3 wins, great. What else has he done? What else? There's nothing else.
That's a valid question.
Done.
I mean, if he's shown some slight improvement, you could say, on the ovals. Like before, at the beginning of the year, he was running 30th, 35th, way back there with the wares and with the Legacy Motor Club cars at the beginning of the year. Now he's maybe closer to the 20th place marker. You can sometimes see him running in the top 20, but still far from where he needs to be, especially in a Trackhouse car. I mean, Trackhouse aren't what they used to be, but they are still one of the front running teams in the field. It is a top tier ride. And if you're not even running top 20 on an oval, are you really deserving of a playoff spot in an oval based championship?
How low have our standards gotten for championship contenders? How low has it gotten to where, okay, winning should be very important. I understand that. I said forever that if NASCAR just went to, the early, like back in 2004, if NASCAR went to just, hey, we're going to get more points to the winner, we wouldn't be in this whole playoffs worthy deserving championship conversation in the first place. I get that. However, how low have our standards gotten for our championship contenders? Because I don't think a lot of you guys understand what it means to make the playoffs. When you're making the playoffs, you're stating 2 things. You're worthy of competing for a championship, and you're worthy of potentially being the champion. Because why else are you going to make the playoffs? I mean, let's be honest here, guys. Anyone who makes the playoffs in any sport, you have to talk yourself into the idea that they could be the champion. It's the same way in football, baseball, basketball, you name it. Can you really look at me in the eyes right now, guys? Can you really sit here and tell me that SVG is worthy of competing for a championship and worthy of potentially being the champion? Okay, he's good at road courses. Go run IMSA then if you want to be a championship contender. And I'm not saying that SVG should lead NASCAR. I'm not saying that at all. I love having SVG here. I love the story of him just waxing the field. I love it. What I don't love is the fact that it comes with a automatic bid to compete for championship. That is a big stain on the win and you're in. Because it honestly, frankly enough, ruins the SVG storyline. We don't see SVG as arguably, in my opinion, now the greatest road course racer in NASCAR history. We see this as someone is taking a championship spot from someone who's more deserving than him. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. And like I said before, if you were making the playoffs, you were stating 2 things. You're worthy of competing for a championship, and you're worthy of potentially being the champion. And I'm sure most Win and You're In defenders and most SVG fans can say that they don't think SVG is a championship contender. Then why should he get the playoffs?
To argue with that point here, so you say that every driver that makes the playoffs should be worthy of competing and should be worthy of winning, right? Yeah. So I raise you someone like Ryan Preece right now, right? He's 16th, 17th on the cutoff line. Would have pointed his way and would be in right now if it weren't for the underdog winners like Barry and Van Gisbergen. Would you say that he has a valid shot at winning the title, though?
Most definitely. Compared to SVG, yes.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously.
Compared to SVG, yes, because there's only one road course and it's in the round of 12. So SVG saw us to make it through a 3-race oval round to even have a shot at getting to the round of 8 because I don't think he. And I said if SVG wins 4 regular season races, then I think he can make it to the round of 12 just off sheer playoff points alone. But then you get into the discussion of there's too many spots into the playoffs, which I
Yep, that's where I'm getting at.
I really don't think 16th is a championship contender. Really, I don't think. Honestly, once you kind of cut off the top 8, like I'm looking at the standings right now. I know I keep refreshing it to see if NASCAR's updated it. They haven't yet, but just look at the standings right now. I mean, like, I don't think Briscoe's a championship contender. I don't think Bowman is. Buescher, like, really, the top 7, 8 are the only guys I could see winning the title. So then you're going off of. So then it's more like, okay, it's not about who wins the most races. It's not even about 16th or 17th, because even if we tried saying that, oh, Ryan Preece isn't going to win the title anyway, like, he's not a championship contender anyway, then neither is SVG. That's the thing. So then it comes to the discussion of there's too many spots in the playoffs.
There is another factor to consider here when looking at who should be in the playoffs, who's worthy of being in the playoffs, just outside of having a shot at the championship. From what I could tell, the top 16 in points, the drivers who make the playoffs, get a much larger chunk of the prize money at the end of the year. And putting someone like SVG in, right, with his 3 wins, sure, you could say that, okay, he's worthy of more prize money. He won 3 races this year. But someone like Ryan Preece, who put together a more complete season, more consistent season, and is, say, 15th in regular season points, he is being screwed out of the prize money due to a more consistent season he had. He just didn't find victory lane. You can argue that when he didn't find victory lane, he would be more in need of the prize money boost.
Yes, exactly. Like, the winning you're in, I mean, it just screws people over. And again, like you said, if you're winning multiple 2, 3, 4 races a year and you still can't crack the top 20 in points, that is a problem. That is a very big problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, exactly. Let's see here. I see some comments here about this. Hi there from Sonoma Raceway right now. Field the Crasher. Hey, I hope you had a good time over at Sonoma. JGR for life. I'm assuming he's alluding to my SVG playoff. Not even close. Nicholas, are you kidding me? It's gotten so low. We're pretty much used to it. Remember last year with Joey Logano? Agreed. I mean, don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
JGR for life. At least IMSA has exciting championship battles almost every year under a full season format. Again, I don't understand. Like, Shahzain, like, maybe you know about this, and, like, I don't. Maybe I'm just delusional, but, like, I don't understand the concept of, oh, we are past the time of a full season format. Then why does every other motorsport do it? Why does IndyCar do it? Why does F1 do it? Why does Sports Car do it? Why does ARCA do it? ARCA does it. Why are we the only sport, the only racing series that's like, nah, we don't need that? Because here's the thing, and I hate that we're talking playoffs, but seriously, someone, whether it's you Shahzain or someone in the comments section, please answer me this question. What is the purpose for the playoffs besides a more entertaining championship fight? Take that reason out, because we know that is the number one reason. What other reason is there for the playoffs?
Well, I mean, the one reason I'd say the playoffs even exist is NASCAR is insecure about people not watching the last few races of the year, the last section of the year, because to NASCAR, the championship is what people are watching for. That's what the only thing people apparently care about. And when the championship is gone, that's decided, they just won't watch anymore, which is completely wrong. Yeah. And that is the primary reason. I mean, it's not legitimacy. It's not trying to help out some of the smaller teams. It's literally just trying to create a more entertaining product in the last few races of the year.
Exactly. It's entertainment. That is the only reason it exists. There's no other reason why it exists. And I'm glad you said, that's why I always say, we don't care about the championship. The championship comes second. when you watch any sport, when you're watching a game or a race or a match, no one cares about the championship in the moment. They care about, is this a good match? Is this a good race? Is this a good game? You know, the later you get into the season, yeah, you might start caring about it. But right now, like, what are we talking about with Sonoma? Oh, the race might have been boring. All right, the Xfinity race was good. We're not talking about, oh, we got more playoff points. He's a champion. You know, all this. He's got more, all that. It's like, no, we're not talking about that. We're only talking about it because you make us talk about it.
Hmm. And I mean, I feel like this is why so many people are, I guess, nostalgic or appreciate the older original chase formats because they have a little bit more legitimacy in that you need to have a consistent final 10 races to be crowned the champion. But that just falls into the same product or same problem, sorry. It's that in years where there's a clear favorite driver, he'll wrap up the title a race or two early, and then you have just the same problem, just at a smaller scale. And so NASCAR wants to completely erase any sort of doubt that there's going to be a blowout champion and be a unentertaining fight for the win, and ensure that Game 7 moment every year. And it's just, for legitimacy, that is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
I'm going to stop talking about the playoffs or else I'm going to crash
Yeah,
out.
yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, I'm going to crash out. Anyway, let's talk about the title of this stream. And that is, do we have too many road courses on the NASCAR schedule? Now, where has this been coming from this week? There's been a lot of discussion throughout the NASCAR community as to how many road courses we should have on the NASCAR schedule. And I'm alluding to the Cup Series, by the way. I'm not talking about Xfinity, Truck, ARCA, whatever. I'm alluding to just the Cup Series. So as you see here in front of us, there's a tweet here from Brad Keselowski. He put it out a couple days ago, talking about how we went from 2 road course races to now 6. We might have 7 next year. So I guess another oval is going to go by the dust. And, you know, Brad is basically stating his case, saying that there's too many road courses on the NASCAR schedule. And there's been a couple of people, you know, fans throughout the industry that have said that as well. My good buddy NASCAR Opinion is one of them as well, saying that he thinks that it's a little too much. He thinks the sweet spot is around 4 road courses on the schedule. And, you know, if you really want to go into it, I'm sure if you guys have been on Twitter long enough, you've seen that tweet where the guy's saying that the 1992 schedule, where there's only 2 road course races on the schedule, is perfect. So where do I land with this? And Shahzain, I'll ask you as well. This is what I think. When I want to see who the best overall driver is, if we are going to put it out there that these drivers are the best in the world, I need them to prove it. I'm sorry, but if you win 5-6 races a year and they're all a mile and a half, but you can't win a short track, a road course, a super speedway, I don't think you're one of the best in the world. I think you're one of the best mile and a half drivers in the world, but I don't think you're one of the best. Case in point with SVG. I don't think he's one of the best drivers this year because he disappears on road courses and then he's a god on road courses. That's not one of the best drivers in the world. So I like a diverse schedule that shows that, hey, you could be good. You got to be good on short tracks, intermediates, road courses, everywhere. You got to be good at every style of racing if you want to be considered one of the best in the world and eventually the champion. Unfortunately, we have such a terrible playoff format that it kind of negates that, but I digress. We just finished ranting about that. So I'm okay with 6. I think 6 is the perfect amount because if we're going to have 36 races, 6 of the schedule, like 6 mile and a halves, 6 road courses, 6 short tracks, 6 super speedways. We're already at 24. Like, you know, obviously, you know, when we get to that 36 number, you have to change some things here and there, but I'm fine with that because it's a good diversity. Now I know what people are going to say. This isn't NASCAR's identity. NASCAR's identity is oval racing, super oval racing, and that's that. Well, NASCAR's identity is also super speedway racing, and every time they even think about adding a new super speedway on the schedule, y'all want to lose your mind. So get out of here with that whole NASCAR identity talk. That's a bunch of nonsense. And I'm not even going to get into the discussion that pre-2020, we were clamoring for new road courses. So again, get out of here with that whole NASCAR identity talk. That's a bunch of nonsense. But like I said before, I want to see who the best is. I want to see who the best stock car drivers in the world are. And you got to be good at all sorts of racing for that. Like, I don't want to take anything away from his championship because it really was one of the best championships in history. But let's be honest here. When you really look at the stats, Truex, he won 8 races in 2017. 7 of them were on mile and a halves. He didn't win any short tracks, no super speedways, 1 road course. Is it, when you really want to look into it, he was good at one type of racing, and that was it. Now, obviously, I know top 5s, top 10s, you name it, but from the surface, that's what he was. So, again, I want my drivers to be good at all styles of racing. I want them to be good on the road course. I want them to be good at the mile and a halves. I want them to be good plate racers. I want them to be good short track guys. I want them to be good at the weird tracks like Phoenix and Indy and Pocono. Because that tells me you are the best driver in the world. Am I wrong?
No, you are 100% right. You took the words out of my mouth. I think, the reason why NASCAR, or one of the most attractive things to NASCAR, for me at least, is just the diversity of the schedule. I mean, you look back, 2023, I think, was one of the most perfect schedules in terms of just diversity because you had super speedways, short tracks, intermediates, road courses, a fair bit of road courses, including both permanent facilities and a street course. And then you had even a dirt track in there. And I think, like you said, you need to be the best at every single track variety over the course of the season to be crowned the champion. And unfortunately, under this playoff format, like you said, that's just not how it works. But under a full season format, that is a great way to determine who your champion at the end of the year should be. And 1/6 of the schedule being road courses, I'm fine with that because there are no repeat road courses. Every single road course we have offers a different, unique challenge. You have obviously the Chicago Street Course is a huge challenge in and of itself, probably the hardest road course there is. You have Sonoma, which is a wide, spread out, sweeping track with a few tight corners. You can also say the same about Coda a little bit, but that is just a completely different thing in terms of elevation change, huge elevation changes, huge hard-braking corners. Watkins Glen is a really high-speed road course, but then it has the intricate in and out section. And Mexico, I mean, it's in a whole freaking different country. So each road course offers a unique challenge, and I think they're just unique enough to warrant a place on the schedule. I mean, I don't think they're taking away from anything else. Now, 7 road courses, maybe it's a bit much because then you are effectively making it a bit road course heavy. But I think 6th is definitely the correct spot, and I think 2 that we had for many, many years is just way too few road courses to be considered the best drivers in the world.
I think the problem is not even necessarily there's too many road courses on the schedule, but they're not scheduled properly.
100%.
Like, listen to what I mean here. I'm looking at the schedule right now for 2025. The first road course was the 3rd race of the season at Coda. Christopher Bell won that. That's race 3. And that's in the beginning of March. The next road course on the schedule isn't until the middle of June when we go to Mexico. So we have a near 3.5 month gap from road course 1 to road course 2. Then we just gotta wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks for the 3rd road course of the season, Chicago. Then it's back to back with Sonoma. Then it's about a 4-week break until Watkins Glen. And then in the playoffs, when we go to the Roval, not until October. So the problem isn't the fact that there's too many road courses. The problem is they're not scheduled evenly. Like we talked about, a 1/6 of the schedule makes up road courses. So 1 in every 6 races should be a road course. It shouldn't be race 3, then, like race 15, then back to back, then another one 2 weeks later, then another one 3 months later. Like, you see, like, it's so spread out and so like discombobulated that it's kind of it just makes no sense. That's what I think the problem is, and I'm saying that because we're in that kind of road course bubble.
Yeah.
We had Mexico like 2 days from now, a month ago. Then we just had Chicago last week. Then we have Sonoma just a few hours ago. And then in less than a month from now, we got Watkins Glen. We got 4 road courses in the span of about less than 2 months. That is a lot to take in the span of just a short amount of time. So that's, I think, where the problem lies more than anything. It's the fact that they're just not scheduled properly. So when you get to this stretch, everyone is like, we're road course racing again?
Yeah, and I think that having so many road courses in a stretch like this is also a bit negative for the on-track product because you look at SVG, he gets into a momentum and he's rattling off win after win after win with no break in between because he is just on his A game right now. He is completely focused, eyes forward. He is as confident as can be. This is his section of the year. But you put a few intermediates in there, a few short tracks in between. I don't think he does as good as he is right now, just because he's not in that mindset. And I was talking to a friend earlier today who is just sick of SVG right now because they have just it's been complete domination on track, just to be frank. And again, it's I feel like the schedule this year is one of the worst in terms of just laying out dates. The
Yeah.
actual tracks we have are good, they're diverse, they're a good selection. But I mean, especially looking towards the playoffs, I mean, I hope that this year's schedule is just a stopgap for next year's because man, there are some things to change.
Yeah, agreed. JJR for life, Watkins Glen, Sebring, Montreal, and Laguna Seca. If I had to choose, there should be only 4 road courses, one of them for the Fox portion, one for Prime, one for TNT, one for USA/NBC. Again, the problem is you got to find that number where, and this is something that a lot of people don't talk about. You got to find that number where it's not too many road courses, but at the same time, you don't want to have so little to the point where it's like back, when we only had 2 and drivers really
Right.
didn't care. Because it's like back then, you only had 2 road course races on the schedule, and literally everyone said, oh, there's only 2 road course races, so it really doesn't matter. I'm not going to try. Then why have them in the first place if they don't care? If no one cares about them, why are we going there? What's the point? So you
Yeah, and
need
I'd
that
say
balance.
sorry, yeah. I'd say nowadays that the road courses we have on the schedule are doing some of the most in terms of getting new fans interested. I mean, you look at especially Chicago and Mexico. They are in brand new markets that NASCAR has not explored for the several years or taken fully advantage of in several years. And if you're gonna get down to 4 road courses, I mean, which road courses would you axe? Because I mean, there's a lot of fans who say the Charlotte Roval doesn't deserve a spot. Well, in my opinion, I disagree. I think the Charlotte Roval is the best road course on the schedule in perhaps the world in terms of just viewing quality for the fans. And it's the one road course I'd say that allows a driver to run through the field. That's why we've had so many good comebacks like Chase Elliott in 2019, Larson in 2021, Reddick last year. So I think that's fully deserving of a spot. I think that Coda offers some of the best racing. And then Sonoma and Watkins Glen are just legacy tracks. I mean, you can't really get rid of them. So I'd say that again, all of the road courses valid in their spot on the schedule right now. And I don't know, reducing them it'd feel like making a sacrifice.
The only ones I would consider, honestly, I'm not a big fan of Sonoma. I wouldn't be
Mm,
mad if they decided one day, yeah, Sonoma, you're done.
yeah,
It just hasn't really done anything for me recently.
definitely
Um,
the weakest road course.
yeah, and like honestly, it's not even close. It's like clearly the weakest.
But
Maybe the
again, though,
Roval, like
again though,
maybe.
Sonoma is the one track we have in California right now. So
Yeah,
that's a pretty big market.
well, if we're going to San Diego, then I think
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
because then
guess.
you already got that. Because then you're gonna have 2 road courses in that state.
Hmm.
So that might be one where it's like, okay, are we really gonna do this? Like, at the end of the day, like, NASCAR is predominantly ovals, so why would you want one state to only know something that you don't really see often?
Right. And again on San Diego, if we are going to San Diego, I mean, as good as it is, I'd like to see them move away from the Chicago street course just because two street courses becomes again, it's not unique anymore. It's a type of racing that offers the same challenge.
Well, I mean, it's you. I gotta like take off my motorsport hat and I gotta put on my
Yeah.
NASCAR hat because I mean, like
Hmm.
street courses have been around. If you really want to get technical, the first ever NASCAR race, which was on the Daytona Beach, is half street, half on the streets, half on the beach.
Yeah.
So it was a half street course. So, but
Hmm.
I see what you mean. I gotta like, I
Yeah.
gotta remember. You know, NASCAR's new to it, but it's been around in racing since literally the dawn of time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things where you just have to look at NASCAR in its own little bubble
Yes.
compared to other motorsports, and you can take it as a good thing or a bad thing. It can really go both ways.
All right, let's talk a little more about Sonoma specifically. We talked about SVG, his domination, but there were some just wild things that happened throughout the race. The first thing I want to discuss, and so if you guys are on the Daily Downforce Discord, which by the way, if you guys are not, go do that. Daily Downforce Discord, Race Reaction, the best place for discussion during a race weekend. Whether you just want some casual conversation or you want the absolute mayhem, you get both. Daily Downforce Discord, go join. Raging Knuckles can attest to that. I know that. Elite, if you're still here, I know for a fact you can attest to that as well. But one big talking point during the race that we were talking about was, let me just pull it up right here. The Ty Gibbs incident. If you guys are seeing right here, Ty Gibbs, he goes into his pit, but then he decides to nearly, it looks like from here at least, I'm not going to accuse him of anything, it looks like he's trying to hit an RFK guy. This is the sixth pit box. It looks like he's trying to hit one of the tire carriers before going to his pit stop. Now, there's been a lot of discussion, you know, whether it's like Steve Letarte trying to defend because NASCAR said it was a no call. So whether it was Steve Letarte trying to defend Ty Gibbs or everyone saying that Ty Gibbs should be suspended, this is not a good look on Ty. I mean, maybe it was just an awkward angle and he was trying to get a better entry on the pit road. But I mean, look at this. You got a guy who's already over the wall. Two guys who are actually over the wall. I'm looking at it. And Ty is, I mean, you can see it right there. He is, I think he actually did hit the tire. Yeah, so it's not a good look for Ty. Not at all. And I don't think NASCAR is going to do anything. If they didn't do it in the moment, I don't think they're going to come out and do anything else. But it's just not a good look, man. I know Ty was scuffling with like the 17 and a couple other RFK guys, but maybe he thought that this was the 17 pit stall and he was like trying to send a message, or he just wanted to send a message to RFK as a whole, so he decided to go after the owner. But Shahzain, I mean, in my opinion, I would have parked Ty for a lap because, in my opinion, that's just unacceptable. I mean, the 54 and the 17 crew and the 6 crew guys were throwing hands after it. So, in my opinion, this is just, I would have parked it for a lap and then just be done with it because you can't do that, man. It's pit road because then you're talking about using a car as a weapon, and we all know, especially for NASCAR, that's a no-no.
So, if I could play devil's advocate here for a
Uh-oh.
little bit. Okay, I know it doesn't sound great, but just hear me out. Hear me out.
Oh, we
Okay.
gotta hear this now.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, I don't think Ty Gibbs did this intentionally. And the reason I say that is because, quite frankly, if you're aiming your car in an attempt to hit someone, I think there are bigger problems than just getting a penalty here. I think you should be sent somewhere if you just ask me, because on the street, you go and you hit someone, a pedestrian crossing the street, that is jail, dude. So I don't think it was intentional by any means. I think that, look, correct me if I'm wrong, but NASCAR used to have a penalty where a car, you had to be within 2 or 3 pit boxes before one of your crew members jumped over the wall. And I don't know if that still exists anymore.
I don't know.
I haven't enforced it, I don't think, but that dude was just chilling in the middle of the box. And you can argue that Ty Gibbs was just so laser focused on trying to hit his marks, making sure he doesn't overshoot, because he's in a pretty high position. He was in the top 10, I believe, right?
Somewhere around here. He was running. He had a pretty good run today. I don't know where he
Yeah.
finished, but yeah.
Yeah, so if you ask me, he was just so laser focused on hitting his marks that it was a bit of tunnel vision. He just didn't see the dude standing in the middle of the box behind him until it was just too late. So honestly, for the people saying this is intentional, no, that's attempted murder. Um, but it's definitely not a good look at all. To just overlook something like that, because in the end, that is a huge safety issue, and you parked for that. It's a close call. If something like this happens again, I definitely say there should be some sort of penalty for that.
So Ty ended up finishing 7th at the end of the day because Lasky finished 11th. So really, no harm, no foul, all things considered in terms of results.
Right.
I don't.
I think.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I can go ahead.
No, go.
Yeah, I think that looking at it in a broader sense, this was taken more seriously when you take into account like Ty Gibbs was getting into the RFK cars on track, and I think that it was just a bit of a coincidence. If that hadn't happened, I don't think this would be as big of a deal as it is.
I'll say this. I don't think it was completely. I don't think it was intentional. But safety is still, like, intentional or not, safety still has to be at the forefront. So if we're just going to chalk it up as, oh, it wasn't an intentional move, so therefore you could get away scot-free, that is, I don't like that kind of thinking. Because Ty should still be aware, or his crew chief, or someone there, because literally they're right next to them, to tell Ty, hey, there are guys over the pit box, be careful when you're coming in. Because it still just looks like Ty just completely disregarded them. Whether that was intentional or not, we don't know. Only Ty would know that. But I still would have liked, okay, you're held for a lap. Just so it sends that message across of whether you're intentional or whether it's not, you can't just go down pit road when there's guys out there and just kind of disregard it. Because that's what it looked like at the end of the day. It really looked like Ty just disregarded them. Again, whether he was intentionally trying to hit them, whether he was just tunnel vision like you said, I would have still liked something just to kind of, snap Ty back into reality. Like, hey, there's a guy right there. Maybe you shouldn't be that close because you might hit him. But that's just me.
Yeah, I do want to look into that rule though, because I swear you had to be within 2 pit boxes or something, and have, and then you're allowed. Or if you go too soon, that's obviously a penalty. And I don't think Brad was at the time, because that dude was just standing there stationary for a good few seconds before he came along. So I'll have to look into that, but yeah, it's definitely not a good look.
Another thing I wanted to discuss real quick is I'm gonna make a graphic about this. Josh, if you're watching, how we're supposed to make that technical difficulties graphic? I know what I'm gonna do it on. Thank you, Ryan Blaney. This is what it's gonna be on. Oh man, Ryan Blaney. This was a moment. Kind of the end of that Sonoma race was fairly tame for the most part. I mean, you had some spins early on between like Bell spawn, Allmendinger spawn, Nemechek spawn. I know early on in the race, it was pretty feisty. I know like at the beginning of stage 1, like 3rd through 7th were like all close up together, but for the most part it was pretty tame until we got to like 30 laps to go, and then calamity ensued. I mean, Blaney was uphill, like I just showed on the graphic right there. SVG looked like he made a mistake, but it's not like it mattered at the end of the day. And then Ty Gibbs, we talked about it with the pit road fiasco. So that Blaney one is funny, and you gotta feel bad for Ryan Blaney. Look, I'm not one of those people who are gonna say that Blaney is one of the most unlucky guys in the field, because he's a champion, he's top 10 in points. To even consider that as one of the most unlucky guys in the field, just stop. But at some point, it's like, all right, what are we doing? Like, it's like, I would understand it if it was like going into turn 1 or like turn 2 or something like that when you're already up in the hill. But it's like, why are we doing this? Like, before we just passed the start finish line.
I really didn't think we'd ever see a car get stuck like that. It's something that's happened to me in racing games, and I'm just like, dude, there's no way this would happen in real life, right? And there it is, right there. That's just beyond just bad luck, bad time, everything for Blaney there. I mean, that's so much time lost.
You know what I just thought of? You know what it reminds me is when everyone uses the hill as a ramp, either in
Oh
iRacing or video
yeah,
games, and they go
I love doing that,
boom.
dude. Back on NASCAR, the game and sideline, that was one of my favorite things to do. Just go over the entire pack.
Yes, that's what it is. Oh, that is great.
Oh man.
Oh, that's good right there. Obviously, we're happy Ryan Blaney's okay.
Mm.
All right, let's okay, that's weird. I don't know why my computer is. Computer. Okay, there we go. Well, we're just gonna roll with this anyway. It's time for race weekend rankings, guys. You guys know how this works. We got 2 races, Xfinity and Cup. I typically don't really include ARCA nowadays, just because either I forget the race is on or I just don't have time to watch the ARCA race. When I can, I try to put it on. But we got 2 races to go over today. But before we do that, if you guys want to give out your race weekend rankings or you want to make a ranking for yourself, there are 2 links in the description of this stream, which, by the way, like the stream and subscribe to the Daily Downforce. That helps us out a ton. But also, the 2 links in the description. One for this weekend's race weekend rankings, and also for the whole 2025 season, because we are ranking every single race. We always do the weekend rankings first, and then we do the whole season as an entirety. So, this one I think is pretty easy. If it would let me, I don't. You know what? We're gonna refresh this. This is interesting. We need that technical difficulty graphic up. Let's see if it'll let me do it now. And it is not for some reason. I always have some sort of issues. It's always with the tier maker website specifically.
Yeah, it's a broken website, man. It's not letting you drag it over.
It's not. It's not. But it's only 2 races, so I mean, visualize it. Xfinity's gonna go 1, Sonoma's gonna go 2. My reasons is simple. Xfinity, the battle for the lead was way more entertaining. Zillage versus SVG, those 2 were having a dogfight throughout the race. Just in general, those 2 were just going back and forth. It was phenomenal, and that was really entertaining, especially that last lap where SVG nearly wrecked Connor like 3 times in the span of 1 lap. The Cup race, it did have some calamity, it did have some really exciting battles, but I mean, really since the drop of the green flag, you knew SVG was going to run away with it,
yeah.
And he kind of did, so when the result is predictable, it's kind of underwhelming. So Xfinity's going to go number 1. It's still not letting me do that for some reason. And obviously Cup is going to go number 2. Shahzain, what do you think about that?
No, I think that's absolutely what I would do. Xfinity was a really good race, as usual it is. Miles better than Cup, because you can just do so much more with those cars. And Connor Zilic, man, is just unreal. He's an incredible talent, and he's finally starting to come into that territory where I'm like, okay, before beginning of the year he wasn't Cup ready. Now I'd say you put him in a Cup car next year and he will learn. It's not like he'll be making rookie mistakes every week. He is a somewhat Cup ready driver now, and I do wonder why Trackhouse hasn't given him more Cup opportunities this year, because especially in Chicago or even today in Sonoma, I think he could have done pretty decently if you put him in a Trackhouse Cup car.
Well,
But
he's gonna go. We all know he's gonna go in that 99 next year. It's not confirmed, but we know for
yeah,
it's gonna happen. So
yeah,
they
but
probably will.
just to get him ready, I would have expected them to put him in the 87. But still, it was really good race between 2 really, really good road course racers, and yeah, easy number 1.
Yeah. Before I show the 2025 race weekend rankings, still having issues. Just in general, the tier maker just doesn't want to work. So, as for where I would put them, I'll adjust that later on when tier maker actually wants to have a functioning website. But I'd probably put Sonoma Cup somewhere in C tier, like top of C tier. I think it was an average race. SVG dominated. We're not really going to remember it really 2-3 weeks from now. So I put it somewhere in C tier. And then Xfinity, yeah, the battle for the lead was very thrilling, but other than that, it was just meh. So I'll put Xfinity in the high middle B tier. Like right now, really the top of B tier is the Indy 500 because I decided to be extra for Memorial Day weekend. But I'll probably put at the top of B tier because again, that battle for the win was thrilling.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'd rank him as well because Cup race was definitely probably the weakest road course race at the very least this year, just because, as I said earlier, Sonoma's probably the weakest road course we have right now. And Xfinity, yeah, battle for the win was really good. I just think that this was probably the battle for the win we should have got with Chicago, really. Um,
Yeah.
with SVG and Connor Zilic going green to the end. But yeah, rest of the race was decent, average for Sonoma standards. So yeah, probably B tier.
I do want to show something really quick. See if it'll, we'll show that later. In the comments here, Jalen, what's up, man? You should make a video on if NASCAR fans really like NASCAR. Honestly, I know you're joking, but unfortunately, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not a bad idea because you got fans who they want to act like they like NASCAR, but then NASCAR will literally be like, hey, we're going to breathe in this state. What? Your guys are destroying the sport.
You know, it's the funniest thing to me. NASCAR fans will go through absolute wars on Twitter against each other, but the second that someone says that Formula One or IndyCar is better than NASCAR because this, they will all unify in solid force against that one person. It's entertaining to watch, man.
Exactly. What's up, Chase Holland? How are you doing? And Jalen, NY Racing, your thoughts? Oh boy. If you guys watch my round 3 prediction for the in-season tournament, you would know that I said 44 instead of 48 because I was thinking of NY Racing because Jalen here is the biggest NY Racing fan in the entire world.
Oh man.
Yeah, they actually have fans. Jalen Lewis here, the chat is one of them. So, NY, if you're watching, Jalen's your biggest fan. All right, let's see if we can get this going. This is something I started doing last week, so this is something that I want to kind of just make frequent. So, after every race on the Daily Downforce Discord, I put out a poll. It's kind of my version of was it a good race poll? With, you know, the whole above or below the cut line shtick. Above means it's good, below means it's bad. And I started putting this out on the stream this last week, and we're going to continue to do this moving forward. So, was the Xfinity race at Sonoma above or below the cut line? No votes for below. A 100% 6 voters all have voted yes. I was one of those votes, by the way, because again, when you have a phenomenal finish, that's what's going to happen. But 100%. Clearly, they think that this was the best race of the weekend. And we'll move on to the Cup Series poll. 8 votes. It was up about 2 hours ago. 6 votes for yes, 2 votes for below. So 75% so far for the Cup race, saying that it was good. If you guys want to vote on these polls, they are exclusive to the Daily Downforce Discord. It is under the Race Reaction channel. So if you guys want to vote on the polls as well as join us on all our fun discussion, if you want to join me, you want to join, you know, even like guy like Raging Knuckles or Elite that are in the chat, head over to the Daily Downforce Discord. I believe the link is in the description as well, and you can join the fun. But yeah, I think some of the fans here, yeah, they agree that this race was, yeah, Xfinity, better, Cup, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I think that's all we have for today. Yep, that's all we got for today. You guys know what to do. It's been a while since we actually had a guest, so it's kind of been a while where we've had this raid segment, if you will. So you guys don't know what the raid segment is. It's simple. Underneath Shahzain's webcam, you would see it's his Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. It is his Twitter handle. So, while Shahzain, the floor is yours. You can just, glaze yourself galore,
Oh
essentially.
man.
And
All
while
I
you do
can
that,
say.
everyone go follow Shahzain. Show him some love for coming on the show. Shahzain, floor's all yours, man.
Yeah, all I could say is get ready for some pretty bad hot takes because it's what I'm known for, even though all of them are 100% factually correct, scientifically
Oh,
proven. But yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you for letting me come on the show. It's been fun.
I just had a ice cube. I was drinking
Oh,
water. So,
shoot, my
just
bad,
wanted to
my bad,
make sure.
bro.
No, you good, you good. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Shahzain. Again, Shahzain makes a lot of good content on the Daily Downforce as well. Again, those shorts, those little Cutline shorts pop up, that's Shahzain doing all the work, man. He does phenomenal work. So again, Shahzain, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, man.
And that's going to do it for us as well, guys. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. If you guys want to find me on my socials, actually, for the first time, we actually changed my graphic a little bit down here. So you see, you got my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Twitter account. They're all the same handle, so go check me out down there as well. Check us out on dailydownforce.com. We got a bunch of great content over there. Follow us on all our social media platforms as well. And make sure to like this stream as well and subscribe to the Daily Downforce YouTube channel for a bunch of great content. That's going to do it for this stream, folks. We'll see you next week for Dover. We're going to wait the checker flag here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week for Dover.